back again this week with Andizwa and Christine from RLabs. Hi guys.
Hi, good to be back.
And this week we're talking about system change, about the big picture of how little projects can create really big results in challenging and shocking the system that they're in. So in some ways, RLabs benefits for people are very immediate and obvious. A person comes in through a course here and their life is changed. But in other ways, RLabs is challenging the system itself, the social system, the beliefs, the rules, the roles, the structures around us in this community and beyond. How do you guys see RLabs as a challenger of systems, as a system change agent?
Sure, I would think even in the beginning, that's one of the things that they started with, changing things like with the modeling counseling. They were not professional counselors, but here they were counseling other people. We've got a lot of examples of how they just challenge the systems with even our training and development section, where facilitators did not go through varsity, but they have been in the class and are being taught, and the next thing is they're facilitating and doing it for someone else.
So this is in a world where most of us believe you have to have this kind of credential to do this kind of role. So if you're going to be a teacher, for example, you have to have lots of university level training and expertise, and you have to be a certain age. Mm-hmm. And here you can come in and teach from what you already know and your own experience. You can take a course and then be teaching that course very quickly right after that.
It's not your qualification or your academic qualifications that qualifies you. It's really your experience that qualifies you. That's what makes us so different. Also, we in the world, you find a 20-year-old teaching a 20-year-old. And it's just really, again, just to emphasize on the fact that it's your experience, because the one 20-year-old might have not gone through our programs, but the other 20-year-old has. And so that's just what really sets the two apart. And if you think about our entrepreneurs as well, where does the business ideas come from? It's from the person's personal experience that I needed this, or I was unemployed, or I am unemployed.
So you guys are talking a lot about challenging the formal qualifications that are often needed. You're also talking about challenging ideas we have around age and what young people can do versus what you have to wait until you're older. And you're saying, no, a younger person can start right away. You're talking also, I think, about background. If someone who is been in gangs or has been on drugs, we often think that person can't operate as a professional, teacher or a manager of a large organization like RLabs, a member of the board of directors, or someone doing something creative like being on the radio. But here, I think we see that a lot. People making radical shifts in the roles that they're playing in the world.
To be honest with you, it's not really a shift. It's a positive shift, because they always been. If you think about the gangsters and you think of specifically the gangsters and how they've operated, their mind has always been strategically. They've always had to think about things strategically. How am I going to break into this person's house? How am I going to approach someone and rob them? It's all strategic thinking. But in the same way, now they're using that very skill within the work that they're doing. So it's just now that it's for a good purpose. It's a good use.
So it's just a mind shift. It's not actually transforming the person.
They are smart people, I can tell you that.
But surely it's been challenging kind of the external world that sees gangsters, or people from these circumstances suddenly playing, these different roles. Mm-hmm. So what kind of pushback has there been from external environments around?
The systems don't like to be challenged.
They don't, and sometimes it gets challenging, because you're sitting with a professor and they want to know, so like, how do you do this? How do you? And it's like, this can't be happening. You're not qualified enough, even in that context. So there's still a lot of judgment within what we do, but what we do is working, because I was at your level. So therefore, I know exactly what you're going through, and therefore it's okay, you can do it. But we still get resistance from some other people that kind of think like, this is not the way that we should be doing things.
And how do you push through that? How do you push through? Because it comes in the form of judgment very often, and that, for most of us, that shuts us down. How do you keep going when the first reaction people are having is, you're not the right age, or you don't have the right background, or you don't have the right qualifications even to be in this room or to be sharing your expertise in this space?
I think the homely feel is what gets us through, because we're kind of like a family here. So we support one another, we encourage one another. So if at a moment we encountered with all of those things, then we are there for each other. We support, and we're okay with not doing what everyone else is doing. We just want to be the green jelly babies when everybody wants the black jelly babies. So for us, it's nice. It's nice for when people say you shouldn't be doing it. Then it means that we should be doing it because we see the results.
One of the other things I've seen at RLabs is challenging also these ideas of different groups that we have in our society. And so much of the RLabs is focused on youth and technology, but we see that around the world. And kind of one of the other things RLabs has done was invite moms and grandmothers into technology training and kind of challenge the idea of which groups should be involved in certain kinds of activities with technology. And what did that create in terms of connecting or identifying different groups, but then allowing them to shift into different spaces?
I think it had to be a shift for ourselves, because the reality is all of us, we come from a situation where we would be like, if our mothers would ask us to help them with the mobile phones, I know it's always, Mommy, why? Oh God, like, Mommy, really? That's the normal reaction. So having worked or started out at RLabs and working with our grandmothers, we needed to first make the shift. Like, okay, so it's older people, but we cannot look at the age, we look at the hunger for learning. So it doesn't really change because it's just the level of hunger, and that is what's been happening. So the age is gone. I mean, if we look at our oldest co-facilitator, Auntie Lillian, she keeps us motivated.
84 years old.
84 years old. She was invited to Google. None of us has been invited to Google, so that was a challenge to our egos. I'm really.
I like this idea of that. Often when we're doing system change, this big challenging thing, we're actually having to start with ourselves and our own beliefs and our own habits of thinking about even our mothers or the people around us. How else have you seen you two change personally? Like what of your own system, your own habits, your own ways of thinking has been shocked into a different way of thinking here in your journey at RLabs?
I think when I got here, I had I did not know what I wanted to do. And I mean, I was already about 25, and I did not know what my passion was really. So who do you want to help? Like, what do you want to do? And you get challenged in terms of thinking, really putting some thought into it. Like, what is it really that gets Andiso going? What is the reason Andiso has to wake up in the morning and continue with life? And I had to change, because my thing was, I need money, I have to work for money, and I had to change now. It was no longer about me, it was about the people. It was about serving. So that was like, why am I now? All of a sudden, there was a whole change in my mind in terms of I need to be helping someone else.
So it sounds like that change was provoked not, and I think this is true of a lot of system change, not just by someone saying this is what you should be, but by questions.
Yes.
By questioning how you're thinking, what the world is like right now and how else it could be. Not giving you an answer, but just shocking you into examining it and rethinking it, your own life in that case.
Exactly. And I mean, you're not just sitting there and you're just going, someone is asking you these questions and you have to put a lot of thought into them. And you get there by yourself. The only thing that we need to do is to question, and that's what we even do with the students within the academy. We question, okay, guys, this is how can we better this? What do you need? So it's what do you need, and then we provide, not what do we think you need. That has always been a winning thing for us.
How about you, Christine? How have you changed?
I think, firstly, I love people. Okay, I'm a people's person. I do, and I love serving. Like it's something. It's my background. I love serving, but something that I needed to change was I needed to reflect. Like, okay, so at work, this is what I do. Okay, I serve. I love young people. I would have one-on-ones with my students because that's just something that I love. But then when I went home, I didn't do it at home. It wasn't there, and I needed to reflect. You know what? How real am I? How real? Like, because that's what I want. I want to be. And so that is something that I needed to change at home, is be more patient when my seniors speak to me or ask me or approach me about things.